Hey everyone, ready to dive into the world of American job interviews.
I know they can be a little nerve-wracking, especially when English isn't your first language.
But no worries, that's what this deep dive is all about.
Exactly. We're going to be checking out some awesome tips from Rachel's English YouTube series.
Her mock interviews are seriously the best.
What I find really fascinating about Rachel's approach is how much she focuses on the cultural aspect of things.
Yeah,
Because, acing an American job interview isn't just about giving those perfect textbook answers.
right.
It's about understanding all those unspoken rules, those little things that can make a huge difference.
Totally. Like small talk, I always feel a bit awkward doing it.
Hmm.
But I guess it's kind of expected in American interviews, right?
Oh, it definitely is. You see, in America, small talk is like your chance to connect with the interviewer before you get into the serious questions.
Okay.
It's about building rapport,
Yeah.
showing them you're a real person, someone they could actually see themselves working with.
Hmm, that makes sense. But what are we supposed to talk about?
Right.
I don't want to sound clueless or even worse, boring.
Oh, trust me, it's way simpler than you think. Rachel suggests starting with something casual like the weather.
Yeah.
Or maybe how you found the office.
Yeah.
You could even mention something positive about your weekend.
Yeah.
Or even better, ask them about theirs.
Oh, that's a good idea. Turn it back on them.
Exactly.
So instead of stressing about what to say, I just be like, how was your weekend?
Precisely. It takes the pressure off you and keeps things flowing naturally.
Right.
And hey, who knows, maybe you'll even discover you have some things in common.
I like that. Okay, so we've broken the ice with some small talk. What's next?
Now comes the question that can make anyone sweat, even the most confident person. Tell me about yourself.
Oof, tell me about it. I always feel like I'm either rambling on forever or leaving out important stuff.
Right. It seems so simple,
Right.
but it's a minefield.
Is there like a magic formula for this question?
Well, there's no magic formula, but there are definitely some strategies that can help you stand out. The key is to remember what the interviewer is really looking for. They want a clear, concise snapshot of your skills and experience, the ones that are relevant to the job, not your entire life story.
So how do I cram all that into a short answer?
It's all about tailoring your response to the specific position. Let's say you're applying for a senior management role.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I have 10 years of experience in marketing, you could say, for the past 10 years, I've been leading marketing teams and developing strategies that have consistently exceeded revenue targets.
Wow.
You see the difference?
Yes, that's so much better. It's not just stating your experience. It's like showcasing your achievements.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm definitely going to practice that.
Yeah.
Now, another question that always trips me up is talking about my strengths and weaknesses. So awkward.
I hear you. But it's a crucial part of the interview.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. When you're talking about your strengths, think about using this formula. My greatest strength is your strength. And this is especially valuable when specific situation.
Okay, so like instead of just saying I'm a great communicator,
Right.
I could say my greatest strength is communication, which has been essential in building strong relationships with clients and negotiating successful deals.
Exactly. You're not just listing adjectives. You're giving them real examples that show how your skills work in action.
Love it. Now, what about weaknesses? They're way trickier.
Yeah, they can be tricky, but the key is to be honest without shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
Rachel suggests framing your weakness as something you're working on, not some fatal flaw.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So how do I do that without sounding like I'm just making excuses?
Here's a good formula you can try. My greatest weakness is your weakness, which can sometimes show up when I've been working on this by specific actions you're taking.
Got it. So instead of saying I'm a perfectionist and sometimes miss deadlines, I could say my greatest weakness is that I sometimes get caught up in the details, which can occasionally impact deadlines. To improve my time management, I've been using project management tools and setting realistic goals.
You got it. You've acknowledged your weakness, shown self-awareness, and highlighted the steps you're taking to improve. That demonstrates a growth mindset,
Okay.
which employers really value.
This is amazing. Feeling so much more confident already. But what about all those other tricky questions they love to throw at you in interviews?
Don't you worry, we've got you covered. Let's move on to a question that's a golden opportunity to show off your preparation and how interested you really are. How did you hear about this position?
Ooh, yeah, that one. It seems straightforward, but I guess there's more to it than just saying, I saw it on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is your chance to go beyond the obvious and show them you've actually taken the time to learn about the company and the role.
So what would be a better way to answer that?
Instead of just saying where you saw it, try connecting it to something specific that grabbed your attention. For example, you could say, I saw this position on LinkedIn, and what really stood out to me was your recent article about mention a specific project or initiative. It really aligns with my passion for mention your area of expertise.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah.
It shows you've done your homework and you're genuinely excited about the opportunity. I'm starting to get the hang of this. Now, what about the question, what attracted you to our company? That one always throws me off a bit.
Oh, that's another fantastic chance to demonstrate all the research you've done and really show them why you'd be a perfect fit for their company culture.
Okay, so how do I do that?
Think about what really speaks to you about the company. Have they won any awards?
Okay.
Are they known for their commitment to employee development? Do they have a strong mission statement that aligns with your own values?
I see. So instead of just saying, you guys seem like a great company, I could say, I was really impressed by your recent award for mention a specific award and your commitment to sustainability, which is something I'm personally passionate about.
Exactly. You're connecting your values and interests with what they stand for. That shows real enthusiasm
Yeah.
and a real desire to be part of their team.
This is so helpful. I'm starting to see these questions not as obstacles, but as chances to shine.
Mm.
But there's one big thing I still struggle with, projecting confidence and enthusiasm during the interview. I tend to get nervous and clam up.
I get it. It's totally normal. But here's the good news. You can totally convey confidence and enthusiasm even if you're feeling butterflies in your stomach.
Really?
It all comes down to your body language.
Body language, seriously?
Yeah.
So it's not just about what I say, but how I present myself.
Exactly. Think of your body language as this secret language that speaks volumes about how confident and engaged you are. And in American culture, certain cues are super important.
Like what?
Well, a firm handshake, for example. It's that first impression you make, and it can really set the tone for the whole interview. It can really make or break things right off the bat.
I've always wondered about the perfect handshake. Is there a secret to it?
Well, not really a secret, but think about finding a good balance.
Okay.
You want to be firm and assertive, but not like you're trying to crush their hand.
Right.
Aim for a grip that feels comfortable for both of you. And don't forget to make eye contact and smile while you're shaking hands. It shows you're present and approachable.
Okay. Firm but friendly handshake. Got it.
Yeah.
What about posture? Should I be sitting up straight like I'm back in school?
You don't have to be that rigid, but you do want to project confidence and attentiveness.
Okay.
Imagine there's a string pulling you up from the top of your head. Avoid slouching or leaning back too casually. It can come across as disengaged or even disrespectful.
So good posture is key, but it shouldn't feel forced or unnatural. Got it. Now, what about facial expressions? I tend to have a bit of a poker face, especially when I'm nervous. Is it okay to let some personality show through?
Oh, definitely. A genuine smile and engaged expressions go a long way in American culture. It shows you're enthusiastic and interested in what the interviewer is saying.
That's a relief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to pretend to be a robot. What about nodding? Is that too much?
Nodding is a great way to signal you're listening and understanding what they're saying.
Okay.
Just keep it natural, Don't overdo it. You don't want to look like a bobblehead.
Aha. Good point. Let's go back to something you mentioned earlier. Humor. I know a well-placed joke can lighten things up, but I'm always afraid of sounding unprofessional.
Yeah.
Any tips on navigating that line?
Humor can be a great way to build rapport, but it's definitely about finding that sweet spot. Steer clear of anything offensive, controversial, or too personal. Stick to lighthearted comments or observations that relate to the conversation.
Okay.
Remember, the goal isn't to be a comedian. It's to show you're personable and have a good sense of humor.
So a little bit of humor is good, but don't force it or try too hard.
Got it.
Now let's talk about one of my favorite parts of the interview, asking thoughtful questions at the end. I love being able to kind of turn the tables and see if the company's a good fit for me. Rachel had a brilliant question about what would impress the interviewer a year from now. What are some other good questions we can ask?
Asking those insightful questions is key. It not only shows you're engaged, but it also gives you valuable information about the company and the role. Here are a few ideas.
Okay.
Can you describe the company culture and what it's like to work here? What are some of the biggest challenges and opportunities facing the team right now?
Okay.
Or what are the company's goals for the next year, and how does this role contribute to achieving them?
Those are great questions. They show I'm thinking beyond just the job description, and I'm genuinely interested in the bigger picture.
Precisely. It's about showing them you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for the right fit.
Speaking of the right fit, Rachel made a really important point in her mock interview about reading between the lines.
Right.
It's not just about listening to what the interviewer says, but also what their answers tell you about the company culture and the team.
It's like being a detective. You're searching for those clues that give you a deeper understanding of the work environment.
I remember in Rachel's video, the interviewer mentioned something about team frustration and high turnover. What were some of the key takeaways from those comments?
Well, he mentioned that the team had been struggling with a lack of growth,
Hmm.
and that the position Rachel was interviewing for had actually seen 3 different people come and go in just 4 years.
Wow. That's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, it raises some questions for sure.
Yeah.
He also mentioned that the previous team leaders were all internal hires, and that they were hoping to bring in someone with fresh perspectives and ideas this time around.
So what does that tell us?
Well, it could mean there's some resistance to change within the team,
Okay.
and that they're really looking for someone who can shake things up a bit and bring a new approach.
That's interesting. It's like piecing together a puzzle, using these little hints to get a better picture of the company culture and team dynamics. This kind of information is so valuable. It can help me tailor my answers and even ask better questions to show them I'm the right person for the job.
Absolutely. You're not just passively answering questions, you're actively gathering information to make a smart decision.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. We've covered so much, from small talk and body language to asking insightful questions and even reading between the lines.
Yeah, we have.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to ace those American job interviews.
And remember, preparation is key. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. Remember Rachel's awesome question about exceeding expectations a year from now? How would you answer that question given everything we've talked about today?
That's a great challenge for everyone listening to consider.
Yeah, what unique skills and experience do you bring to the table? What are you
Yeah.
passionate about?
What are your strengths?
And how can you use those strengths to make a real impact on the company and the team?
It's all about crafting that perfect response that shows you really understand the role, you're ambitious, and you're committed to going above and beyond.
This deep dive has been such an amazing journey, exploring all those nuances of American job interviews,
Yeah.
from the importance of small talk and body language,
To asking those smart questions and...
reading between the lines.
Exactly.
It's really about painting that picture of what your success would look like.
It's about showing them you're not just there to fill a spot, but to actually bring something valuable to the team.
What I love about Rachel's question is it makes you think beyond just getting the job.
Right.
You start to imagine yourself thriving in the role, setting high standards and making a real difference.
It's about connecting your own goals with the company's goals
Right.
and showing them that you're invested in their success.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to really think about Rachel's challenge.
Yep.
Imagine yourself a year from now in this position. How would you answer that question about exceeding expectations?
What would you bring to the table?
What are you passionate about?
How would you use your talents to make a real impact on the company?
This deep dive has been incredible. We've really explored the ins and outs of American job interviews, from the importance of small talk to body language to asking insightful questions and reading between the lines.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've uncovered some really valuable tips and strategies that can help you approach your next interview with confidence and a clear sense of purpose.
Definitely.
Remember, preparation is key. Practice makes perfect. And showing genuine interest and enthusiasm can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, believe in yourself and your ability to succeed. You got this.
You've got this.
And don't forget, we're always here to support you. Feel free to share your thoughts and insights in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into American job interviews.
Until next time, happy interviewing.